Okay, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Bruno from L&S Farms. And what we're doing here today is we're going to show you how we start our baby chicks. Now, these are all hatchery chicks. For those of you that hatch them yourselves, there'll be a different video for that later. But this right now is for most people that are just starting out or doing a small homestead, or just for your you and your family. You're going to get a few chicks. You're probably either going to buy them from someone else or a hatchery. This is what we do here. Now let me say first, at L&S Farms, our focus is on beyond organics. We believe if you don't know your farmer, you don't know your food, you shouldn't buy food from strangers. And all the opinions here are mine, and so they're not scientifically proven. They come about from my experiences and things I've read and I've done myself. And we hope that this will encourage you to go out and do these things on your own and to decide for yourself whether you want to do it the way we do it or somebody else, or just parts of what we do. That's entirely up to you. And also, as I'm sure if you watch these videos, you've heard before, if you would do us the favor of hitting that like button, subscribing, that really helps us. And if you want to make a donation to us without spending any money, if you just watch the commercials that are intertwined with the video, that will help us out tremendously. Now, without further ado, I'm going to show you, basically I'm going to come off the camera and I'm going to show you what we're doing here. All right, so now we start with organic. We use organic chicken starter. Just like babies, they need to have food that's geared for where they are in their lives. So chicks get chicken starter. And we have just your variation. We have a feeder here. This is the feeder we choose to use. I'll show you why in a minute. There's a lot of different feeders. There's a lot of different feeders that work. It's entirely up to you. Now, you'll notice that I have, this is a galvanized water I have here, and over there I have a plastic one. Well, why don't I use the same one for everything? Well, it's because when we unpack the chicks, they have been in a box since they were born. So they've spent 2 or 3 days in that box being shipped. Now, when they're first born, they can go without any additional food or water for about 3 days. Okay, so what we do is in this galvanized waterer, we put sugar in their water. So in about a gallon of water, we put probably about maybe a dozen or so tablespoons of sugar. It's not very scientific. It's just enough because it gives them a little bit of energy boost. You'll see what I do with them to get them started drinking that when I take them out of the box. Now, the reason why we have this plastic waterer over here is because there's a thing that baby birds tend to get that we call pasty butt. They get from their vent where they expel their excrement. It sometimes will get pasty and stick to their feathers, and it could block that hole enough where that they die. So one of the things that helps that and prevents them from having other parasites and things is we put organic apple cider vinegar in their water. We dilute it in there. There's 4 gallons in there. There's probably about 6 ounces of apple cider vinegar in there. And we'll give that to them like twice a week. And that will help prevent that and keep them nice and healthy. Now, you cannot put the vinegar water in the galvanized waterers because this is a metal waterer. And vinegar is an acid, and it will etch the finish on that. And we don't want that. It'll cause them to rust, and it'll give the birds things that we don't want them to have. Okay. Now, baby birds also need to be kept warm, so we put heat lamps in with them, and as they grow and mature, we put timers on them so they get less and less heat until they don't need heat anymore. All right, now we're here in South Carolina. It's pretty warm, so they're only going to need supplemental heat in the evenings, at night I should say, and then during the day, not at all. Now we want them to have, you'll see we have one batch over here that's already been here. These are the boxes we build. Okay, it's homemade. There's nothing fancy about it. It's real easy to do. If any of you want to know how we do this, or you want a video on that, please make a comment, send us a question. We'll be happy to help you out with that. But it's real simple. It's a 4x4 box, and we put a little a bar in here to hold up our light, and we put a bed of 4 to 6 inches of wood shavings. Now, there's a lot of different things you can use. You ask 10 people, you get 10 different opinions. I like this because we put a nice deep bed, and as they poop in it, that we can rake it about. And if it starts to get too nasty, we put another layer of chips on it. We just keep adding. We don't take any out till they're finished and they're in the coop. And then when they are, then all of this goes in our compost pile, and it becomes amazing fertilizer for our vegetables. But that's another video. Okay, so as you can see over here, you see some of the ladies are poking their heads out to see us. Now, one of the things you could tell that these birds that are right here already, they're a week old, and they do not require any supplemental heat at this point, at least not during the day. If they were cold, they would come out here in the sunlight, and you'd see them all hanging out over here because they'd be trying to warm up. Instead, they're back there in the shade because they're trying to stay cool. The water's back there, and their feed's out here in the sun right now. But so that's one of the ways you could tell what they need. If you pay attention to them, they'll give you a good idea what they need most of the time. Now, also, the other thing that's important to chickens is that, sorry about that, is they need grit. Okay, so this is some ground granite. All we do is, just like salt, we just sprinkle it with their feed and around their feeder bucket, just a little bit. Okay, you don't want to give them too much at one time because you don't want them to fill up on grit, and that helps them. They need that because they don't have teeth. It goes into their gullet, and the gullet grinds up the feed that they eat, and it makes them happy. Okay, then you have happy, healthy birds. Now we're going to start unboxing our baby chicks. All right, so see these? Oh yeah, look at them. They're kind of crowded in there a little bit, so we're going to get them out there, start getting them out there. I'm going to pause this for a second, get set up, and show you what I do as I take them out of the box. Thank you.